we need to listen to our gut. It knows better than our brain most of the time. I think our gut knows what the brain is not ready to process. It tells you instantly how that makes you feel. You feel a situation, a decision, and that's usually the right way to go. I've had a situation recently where I have been worrying about one of my friends. You know, he's an incredible artist, and for about 5 months he had basically isolated himself, and he was focusing, and he has been focusing massively on a project. You know, he's sitting on about 50 songs, completed songs that he's going to be releasing. And, you know, I'm so unbelievably proud of him, but he's been very against the idea of meeting up. And this is since, you know, September. It's now March now. And today, me and another friend of mine that I've been friends with for ever since I was 11 years old. And I stayed at his last night. We had an amazing night. We ended up just chilling, eating food, and just laughing all fucking night and getting to bed at a normal time. You know, when otherwise in the past I would have been out getting so pissed, blacking out, waking up, feeling awful, can't drink coffee, can't actually face what I did the night before. But instead it's a Saturday night and I'm watching a documentary, eating some nice food and getting a relatively early night and waking up with 7.5 hours sleep thinking, I can actually completely seize the day today. I can get amongst it. I can do whatever I want. I'm not held back by this feeling. Or I don't kind of want to flood myself with something to escape the fact that I'm not happy. Okay, so basically, we both decided to go and knock for... This keeps hitting my foot. We both decided to go and knock for my mate. And, you know, I was feeling nervous about it. Honestly, I was feeling like, oh God... I started having these fears in my dreams and everything that it was going to be a lot worse than it turned out to actually be. But, you know, I started having dreams about him looking very different. And, you know, this is another very important aspect dovetailing from my sleep, you know, because our dreams are very symbolic. And I've realised that me kind of imagining in my dreams that he was looking a specific way, like his teeth had fallen out and his skin was like, just all like cut up and stuff like that. I had a very kind of unusual, vivid dreams about him. But I've realised that that was like a symbolic representation of how I thought his mental state was. And it was exhibiting itself physically as a metaphor. And when we actually did knock for him, you know, he came downstairs, we ended up waking him up because it was early in the morning, and we had a chat, we shared some hugs, and it was just instantly normal. It was instantly normal. And after a bit of kind of jostling, we encouraged him and persuaded him to come for a walk at the nearby park, which was like a couple of minutes away. Not even. It was like a minute away. And we were walking around and it was just so correct. It was so present. Everything just felt right. And I've had fucking, you know, I realised how much that this was eating me up. You know, I think we have to remember that our gut knows best. I knew that I had to go there. I knew that I had to just not think about how it's going to potentially be received and that it's going to be potentially slightly stressful for him. It was none of the above. It was received with such gratitude, and it was the right thing to do. I allowed my brain to prevent me from doing that for a while because I was too worried about what the potential reaction would be. Who cares? When you know it's right, you have to do it. I was worried about my friend. I saw him. We both saw him. And I've just left him now. I've just got home and I knew I needed to make a video like this. We were walking around, we sat down, we were looking at the pigeons, we were looking at the squirrels, we saw some people doing Tai Chi. We were just literally talking about how necessary it is to just give yourself the time to look after yourself and go out and be in the moment. And, you know, we were just talking as though nothing had fucking changed, you know, like we've been mates since, because we have. Since we were 11 years old, and it felt like we were just right back there. And, you know, another situation where another one of my friends came to the park as well. This is like, we're in the back where the place where we grew up. This is unusual. This is nostalgic. And he came and he was basically he had some news that he'd basically, the job that he has no longer has any work. And my reaction to that, because I've wanted him to leave, was, fuck yeah. That's exactly what I wanted him to do. And sometimes in life, the universe will make decisions for you. The decisions that you need to make that you're not quite capable of making yet. And he's needed to quit that job. It has been ruining him. It's basically just been making him, forcing him to live in this perpetual state of stress. This thing that we have normalized. Why on earth have we normalized this feeling? It's killing us. We are not supposed to be living in perpetual stress. That was for when we were worrying about our survival, sleeping outside in the forest, worrying about whether a predator's going to kill you or steal all of your shit. That's not for now. We're so advanced as a civilization, we don't want to just, let's create another thing that's similar to that, because we know we're capable of dealing with that perpetual stress. So let's create another thing that's going to make you live in a constant state of unease and displeasure and dissatisfaction. That's only going to mean that you regret your life. The universe made a decision for my friend. The universe made a decision for me. The universe has made many decisions. My friend that we knocked for saw this, me and him, knocking for him as the universe making a decision. Ironically, so many synchronicities occurred on this one little event today. And we just have to go with our gut. If we do not do the things we know we need to do, if we don't make the decisions, the universe will make the decision for you. But it might be too late. Don't allow the universe to make the decision for you. Make the decision first. You know deep down what you should be doing. You know deep down what you would love to do. Let's find what we love to do. You know, one of my passions, as I've said, is music. Expressing myself. That is my pathway to fulfillment. I think there's a chance in my life where I become a teacher. Teaching people who are maybe around kind of 7, 8 years old. Because I feel like I could inspire them. I feel like I could make them realise that life is so amazing, and try and make sure that they nurture what they actually love. Give them the grace that they deserve. If someone's struggling, give them the grace they deserve. Think about what they might be going through. I think I'll be able to bring such a human approach to teaching. Teachers deserve respect. I wasn't necessarily the best pupil because I was failed by the syllabus. I was failed by the structure of school. School failed me. I wasn't supposed to be in those extra classes. I wasn't supposed to be told off all the time. I wasn't supposed to feel so stupid. I was supposed to be allowed to exercise, probably about 1 to 2 hours a day. I have far too much energy to be sat down cross-legged staring at a whiteboard. So do you. So you should not be sitting on a wheelie chair for 8 hours of the day, dosed up on coffee, with an hour lunch break that you probably just get your lunch to sit back down. That is not a life that any animal should be living, let alone a human being. A human being that requires so much mental and physical stimulation in order to actually just exist as a real version of themselves. We can't just be sitting down. We need to move. We have not got so far from the hunter-gatherer mindset. That's still ingrained within our genetic composition. We are still supposed... Why do you think we like the things searching, looking around, scrolling? It's because it's tapping in to that nature, but we're not actually moving. We're not moving. So this scrolling, this idea of like playing games, which I love to do, but I know it's not good for me. Yeah? Pokemon was played by me far too young. It made me feel as though I was actually engaging in this real life exercise and discovering, when what I was actually doing was sitting down, moving my thumbs, transported into this virtual world. Even though it was some of the most amazing, I felt amazing doing it and I was addicted to it. I could have just been walking around and it's discovering nature and going around to a park, encouraging my parents to take me outside and be like, look, I feel pent up. We need to be told and remember that we need to get out. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to just go for a walk. Go for a walk. We should not be indoors all day, ever. Even if you're ill, even if you're feeling really ill, You need to get outside and go for a walk. I'm not saying go out for a run, go to the gym. I'm saying go outside, go for a walk, clear your head, preferably in the morning before you start work. We need to create a separation with the way that the world is. And we are, expected to potentially, if you're working remotely, get up at like 8:30, have some food or have a coffee and sit down and work and not leave the house for the whole day, have dinner, go to bed and do the same thing 5 days a week. That is slave shit. Honestly, that is not a life that anyone should be living. And I know that we have to put our structures in place ourselves, where we go out for a walk ourselves. But I'm sorry, this idea that we've been sold that remote work is the way. If you don't like your job and you are working remotely, not seeing anyone, and you are dedicating 65, 70% of your life doing this, potentially working over hours, extra hours and whatever, that is no life. That is zero life. You don't like what you're doing. You don't care about what you're doing. You're not seeing anyone. You're not leaving the house. You're becoming a recluse. It's not okay. We need to find the things we love. I'm not going to stop saying this because I found the things that I love. I've changed my perspective. I'm seeing life positively. I'm loving life. I'm loving myself. And if I see the world not loving themselves and I can try and kind of encourage people to change in the way that's only going to make their lives better and make them feel more fulfilled, that is my duty to do so. I owe that to the world. It's not a case that I need to do that. I want to do that because I feel like I can and I should. Okay? And, I know that I can potentially sometimes come across as maybe over passionate. But I need to get this off my chest. I need to tell people how I'm feeling. And hopefully this is going to end up helping other people that might be going through some stuff. I've been in periods of turmoil. I've been in periods of chronic depression. Honestly, I've been bedbound. I've been escaping through drugs for long periods. I don't take any drugs anymore. I used to be a huge drinker, massive drinker. I would drink to the point of blackout every single fucking night that I drank. I did have days off, but every single time I drank, I would drink to the point of blackout and forget hours of the night. I've done another video and I don't know whether I would have posted it yet, but I have forgotten 100+ days of my life through drinking. That is disgusting. I took control of my life again. I took back control. I nurtured my child self. I reminded myself of what I actually love to do. And I said no to playing the game that they want us to play. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to find what I love to do and I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to be completely focused on money. Fulfillment, real inner fulfillment is the way. That's the pathway to actual happiness. If I had an amazing car or all of the material things that I wanted, I would still be the exact same person. And if I wasn't happy and I didn't know myself, I'd just be an unhappy person that didn't know themselves, that had a Lamborghini and a fucking whatever. It's not going to change anything. I watched that Louis Theroux documentary last night with my mate when I was having the popcorn, all the treats and all the fucking lovely steak and all this sort of shit. I was treating myself with food as opposed to drugs. That's something that you can do. It's a lot better than fucking doing drugs. Anyway, so we were watching this Louis Theroux documentary. It was about the manosphere. And it was tragic. It was tragic what the kids are being sold. These insecure, fake alpha males selling the fact that they think, women are less than them and they have the secret code to becoming a CEO and becoming a billionaire. Every single person could be like me. That's bullshit and you know it. No, there is not enough space for every single person to have that fucking position. So stop lying to the kids. You know what your demographic is. And I'm speaking, if someone actually aligns and subscribes to these people, check yourself. Because they are fucking you over. They are taking the piss out of you. And they are extorting you for money. Getting you to subscribe to their fake fucking bullshit. Selling you, tips on stock exchanges. They're going to have their fingers in every single one of those pies. And they're going to be incrementally taking every single penny that you have They're not fucking big people. They're dysfunctional, pathetic losers. This is real. The only reason I can say this about these people is because they are negatively impacting the youth. And I will not stand for that. I will not allow this. I'm not even going to say their name, but you know exactly who they are. They are pathetic. If they were in a room with me, I would easily be able to dismantle them and make everyone realise how pathetic they really are. They don't have anything that I want other than a swimming pool, maybe. That's one thing that I really actually do want. I've always had a dream of, being able to every morning just dive into a swimming pool, because I've always struggled with waking up in the morning, and that would be an amazing natural way to wake up in the morning. That's one thing that I do want, but that's an achievable goal. I don't want much more than that. So, people, this has been a very kind of, various different avenues I've gone down in this, but we started with talking about the importance of the gut, and how the universe can make decisions for us. Okay, and then I started talking about the fact that, we have control and we need to find the things that we need to do. I'm going to echo that for forever, for eternity, because it's true. Being a teacher, how important that is and how they should be respected, and how there are people, as a conclusion, there are people now online that are spreading terrible messages to kids, to our youth, that are literally stealing money from their families. And they're selling this idea that women are secondary and that men should... These are insecure men that have been wronged by one woman, and they can't handle the fact that they can't have a woman that actually speaks back and has their own autonomy over their life and has independence. They think every woman has to be bought. I've never bought a woman in my life, but I've had plenty. Why do you think that is? Because you're a fucking loser. That's why. Stop spreading that disgusting message to kids. And I'm sorry that I'm coming at it from this angle, but sometimes I'm going to come out with the things that I feel, and I'm always going to be honest. And this makes me angry. I'm going to spread positivity. And through this anger, through this frustration, there is a positive message that we need to see the wood through the trees. We need to see the truth. Stop following these absolute losers online. They don't have anything that you need. They don't have anything that you want. All they're trying to do is make controversial stuff and spread negative messages and steal your money. So let's forget about people selling you dreams about how much money that they can make you. They ain't going to change your life. The thing that you can focus on right now is exercise and find the things that you love. That will make sure that you actually attain real fulfillment. Dreaming about money and thinking about the future all the time and dwelling on the past it ain't going to do shit. It ain't going to do anything for you. So think about now. Think about the things you love. Find something creative that you love to do. And go for a walk. Focus on your sleep. Make sure you're getting around 7 hours every night. And that's about it. Drink water. Eat food. Be around those that you love. Laugh. All of the things that we need, we already have. And I'm never going to stop saying that. Sorry that this was a little bit more aggressive, this video. But sometimes in order to get your point across, you need to express yourself in a way that's slightly different. So, peace out, people. Have a lovely day.